Welcome back to Moby's Kitchen, and tonight we're going to be making some chicken and sausage pasta. So let's take a look at these ingredients. We have some tomato paste. We have these sweet peppers. You can do any color you like. I just happen to have some red and yellow and orange, so we're going to add some color to it. You could use bell peppers here as well. We've got 4 cloves of like small cloves of garlic. If you've got bigger cloves, you could probably get away with 2. And then we've got these, my favorite, the Cento San Marzano tomatoes. These are from Italy. Use Cento, it makes a big difference. We have also the Cecco Fusilli pasta is what we're using tonight. You could use penne or spaghetti or whatever your favorite pasta is. I'm just gonna go with Fusilli. It's kind of like a spiral design and it soaks in all the sauce really good. We also have a yellow onion, some Pecorino Romano cheese, grated fresh. Like I said, you can find this at Costco. Get the stuff from Italy. It makes all the difference in the world. Don't buy the fake stuff. We have about 1/3 pound of Italian sausage. You can go hot or you can go sweet, either way there. We've got some chicken breast and then kosher salt, black pepper, and olive oil. All right, first step, get over to the stove and get your water boiling in a big pot for the pasta. Okay, so we're gonna start by chopping up our onion here. This is the way I like to cut an onion. Everyone's got their own technique. I think this works the best. So you wanna cut this bottom piece off, just a skinny piece here, and that'll give you some leverage. And then you come right back and you find the root end here. This sometimes has like the furry sort of end. This holds everything together. So find the best place to cut it here. You're gonna go right in the middle of the root. So you have 2 equal halves and just cut down. And what you're gonna do is take that outer layer off. If it's stubborn, it's okay to take an outer layer of that onion off too, because it's kind of that chewy part. So you don't really want that involved anyway. All right. And then this one, I'm gonna cut kind of like chunky style onions for this pasta. It's gonna be kind of like a rustic style. So the best way to do that is kind of come through, don't cut all the way through to the root. I'm gonna make 3 cuts like that, if you can see that. And we're gonna come back and make pretty good sized cuts here. So we end up with good sized onions. There we go. And these will break up. Just kind of separate them with your hands a little bit. And when you're once you put them in the pan too, they'll start separating. You can use your spoon. But as you can see, I'm looking for this kind of size here. Put one of these off, kind of roughly that size there for your onion. All right, I'm gonna cut the other half the exact same way and I'll be back with you. Okay, so next up, we're gonna chop up our garlic. So I've done this a million times, I think, on the channel, but we're gonna show you how to do it again. Take your knife, make sure the blade side is away from you. Get over your garlic here, and then just give it a little pop. And that should kind of release the skin of the garlic off. Came right off on that one. Sometimes it's a little stubborn. And then I like to cut this sort of woody root end off first, so I don't forget to do that. And then we can do like a rustic chop on this. So just kind of come through. Doesn't have to be like minced or anything for this recipe. And then come back through these bigger pieces and just run your knife through it one more time. And that'll do right there. And you're just gonna repeat that with the other, if you're doing 2 large garlic cloves, you got 1 more to go. If you're doing the small ones like me, I got 3 more to go, so. Okay, next up, we're gonna cut up our sweet peppers here. So this is how I like to do this. You take this root end off, or the stem end, I should say, and then cut it in half. And you can see you've got this sort of fibrous white stuff in the seeds. You want to take that out. If you leave a little behind, it's not going to hurt anybody too bad. They're sweet peppers, so there's no spice in these at all. And flip them back over. And I want to cut them kind of similar to the onion, so we have like a similar look to the pasta, the different size of the elements in there. So I'm just going to do this real simple. I'm going to cut this piece, and I'm going to cut this piece. These are good, and I might cut this one in half if it's bigger like that. So you want a piece like roughly this size here. And you're just gonna repeat this process for all the peppers. And if you have a bell pepper that you're using, same thing, cut it into roughly the same size as that. So, and we're just gonna keep going until we get all our peppers done. Okay, next up, we're gonna cut up our chicken breast here. This is how I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna butterfly it. Just cut it right down the middle in 2 equal halves here. And then what I'm gonna do is kind of cube this up. So we're gonna go kind of strips about, I don't know, not that wide. What would you say that is? Probably about an inch wide. Yeah. And then we're gonna come back across and across. So we get a cube that looks roughly like this. Similar, the key here is having the same thickness on the chicken breast because that way it'll cook even. So we'll do this. You know, some are a little smaller. It's, like I said, it's kind of a rustic style. Will be fine. There we go. And I think that's gonna be plenty of chicken for what we're trying to do here tonight. If you're making a bigger batch, you can go more, you can double it up. It's one chicken breast with the sausage, it'll be plenty. So next time we see you, we're gonna be over at the stove. Okay, we've had our water boiling here. I had to switch it onto my less powerful burner, so it was a tumbling boil before. Now it's just kind of slowed down a little bit. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna put about a tablespoon of salt into the water. You wanna always salt your pasta water. There you go, about a tablespoon and a half. Get that water salted. Stir it in. And let that go. I want to bring that a little bit more back up to the boil. So then we're going to preheat I like to use a large pan because we're making kind of a sauce in here, and then everything's going to end up in this pan here. So we want to get this preheated here on medium heat. So we're going to give this about 3 minutes of preheat, and then we'll be right back with you. Okay, so we're not using a nonstick pan, so we definitely want to put oil. I like oil for flavor, so if we were using a nonstick pan, I'd put oil too, but you definitely want oil in this type of pan here. So we're going to put about, I don't know, about 2-3 tablespoons of oil. Get that nice and coated on the bottom of the pan. Let's spread that around with our, you can hear it's already hot, so we're probably ready to start cooking. It's been preheating about 3 minutes. Make sure the oil's nice and coated here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with our onions and peppers. Stir these around. Okay, then we're going to add in a little bit of salt. Salt and taste. This is about 2 teaspoons. Same thing with the pepper. And we're on medium heat, just as a reminder. Okay. And we're going to cook this for about, started for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to add in our sausage and chicken. So let's get this cooking. I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we've been cooking these peppers and onions for about 2 or 3 minutes here. We're going to move them off to the side. Take some space to add in our meat. And start with our sausage. I'll break this up. Usually I like to break this up before we get it in the pan. It just helps a little bit, but I didn't do that tonight. This is supposed to be kind of a rustic, quick meal that you could just do at home in 20 or 30 minutes so your family has a nice meal. And that's kind of the goal here tonight. Okay, we'll keep breaking that up as it goes. So let's get our chicken in there. All right, then with the chicken, we're going to want to give it a little salt and pepper treatment. About a teaspoon or 2 of salt and pepper. Once again, kind of salt and pepper to taste. And then what we want to do is kind of get this chicken spread out here. I'm going to add a little bit more olive oil just to help with the sticking. Maybe about a tablespoon there. And then once we get our chicken going, we don't want to touch it. Let it get nice and brown and caramelized, kind of the same with the sausage here. Give it a couple minutes before we start messing with it. Okay, so we've been going about 3 minutes here with our meat, and I have not touched the meat at all. I've been kind of moving around the onions and peppers just so they don't burn too bad. Just kind of, occasionally stir these. A little bit of char is not going to hurt you though. So what we want to do now is kind of start mixing up this meat, breaking it up a little bit more. Like I said, it's kind of a rustic recipe, so we can leave it kind of chunky, but if you like it real broken up, break it up more. It's up to you here. Okay. So you just kind of get the edge of your spoon, break it up. However you can break it up, break it up. All right. Stir it up, make sure that pink side gets kind of into the pan, the hot pan. And then the same with the chicken. Stir that up. And we can kind of start mixing everything together now. We can mix our onions and peppers and our sausage and our chicken. And let's let it go for a couple more minutes and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so we've got our chicken, sausage, peppers, onions. That's all going. It's going probably been another 2 or 3 minutes. I've been kind of stirring it occasionally here. We're gonna make a little well in the middle. I'm gonna throw down just about a teaspoon of olive oil here. Add in our garlic. Now the garlic cooks fast, that's why we wait till the end to do this. Just like 30 seconds to a minute. All right. Get that coated in the oil here. We're gonna cook that about 30 seconds to a minute, and we can add our tomato paste right now. Now I like the tomato paste in these sort of reusable, I call them toothpaste tubes, for lack of a better term. But you know, if you buy it in a can, it's hard to save. You got to put it in a Tupperware thing. This is nice. It has a little lid on it. And we're going to put about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Now this just cooks the rawness out. That's why I like to kind of saute it. This will help with that. So we're gonna go about, let's go another minute with the tomato paste and the garlic, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, so before we address our sauce here, I'm gonna get the pasta going. This takes about 10 minutes to go. So probably at 9 minutes, you're al dente, and we're gonna mix it in here. So maybe 8 or 9 minutes, we'll check it and mix it all in, but let's get this going. Got our boiling salted water. I'm gonna put about half this box in. So this is a 1 pound box, so we're putting about a half a pound of pasta in there. And we'll get that going. You wanna make sure to kind of stir this occasionally too, so it doesn't stick, especially right at the beginning. And we're gonna come over here to our sauce. Stir this all up. I wish we had smell-o-vision because it smells amazing in here. What do you think?
It smells really good.
So we're gonna get that tomato paste all incorporated in here. As you can see, it adds some nice color. It just adds a nice richness if you don't add it, you can get away with it, but I just like what it adds. Now, I'm gonna do this as an optional step. You don't have to do this. You can use water here, you could use chicken stock. I just happen to have a little bit of white wine. I'm gonna deglaze the pan a little bit. Maybe about a quarter to half a cup there. Now all the alcohol is gonna cook off. As you can see, it's steaming out, but it adds a nice flavor and it gets all that fond off the bottom. The F-O-N-D, that's what all that good flavor is on the bottom. That sort of char on the bottom, you wanna mix that in. Smells even better, doesn't it? It's one of my favorite parts of cooking is smelling the cooking as each step adds to that flavor profile, and you can just smell it. You know it's good. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Make sure your hands are nice and clean. I wash mine in between takes all the time here. So we're gonna take our Cento San Marzanos, and we're gonna do just a real rustic break with our hands here, because we want it kind of chunky. And I'm gonna continue doing this till our whole can is in there. I'm just doing a nice, just breaking it with my hands here. All right, and I'll be right back with you once we get them all broken up. Okay, so we've got all of our tomatoes broken up. We're gonna pour the rest of the juice in there. All right. Stir it all up. We're still on medium heat, but what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lower this and bring it to a nice slow simmer as our pasta cooks. And that reminds me too, while we're cooking that pasta, let's give it a little stir. All those starches are releasing out, so this is a good time to reserve some of that pasta water. You'll see what we need that for in a minute. So you just take you could do a coffee cup or a coffee mug with a handle on it, or a measuring cup. Just reserve about a cup of it, just like that, for later. And then, as you can see, we've come to a nice little simmer here. I'm gonna lower it to like a low to low medium heat here. Just keep it simmering while our pasta cooks. And I'm gonna add a little tiny bit of salt right now. Kind of helps bring a little bit of that sweetness out of the tomatoes. So maybe a tablespoon of salt there. And add a little bit more pepper too. Maybe the same thing, about a teaspoon of pepper. Stir that all in. Because I'm going to be adding a little bit of pecorino here in a minute to this too. So that also has kind of a salty vibe to it. All right, and let's let this simmer away as our pasta finishes cooking, and I'll be right back with you. Okay, we're gonna do my favorite part, grate some fresh Pecorino Romano into this. This adds a nice little richness and creaminess and a nice cheesy flavor to it. We're getting down to the end, Bobby. It's almost time to get another one, isn't it? You probably already got one in there, don't you?
I think I do.
All right, so I love this stuff. So I'm gonna put a lot, maybe a good quarter to a half a cup here. Like I said, this adds some more saltiness. That's why you gotta be a little careful when you're salting in the early stages. Plus the pasta is in the salt water, so. Okay, let's stir that in. Now I'll just kind of disintegrate that delicious flavor into the pasta sauce here. As you can see, this is what I wanted. It's a nice chunky sort of rustic looking sauce, simple. We've just got some simple, delicious flavors in here. You could make this in 30 minutes at your house. All right, let's keep simmering away here and occasionally stir this, and remember to occasionally stir your pasta as it boils too. All right, we'll be right back with you in a few minutes. Okay, so our pasta's been boiling here for about 8.5 minutes, and I just tested it. It's al dente right now, so we want to finish cooking it. We don't want to go too much longer with it because it is going to cook a little bit more in the sauce too. So we're going to take it over and strain it. All right. A little bit of water stays behind, it's fine. It'll help add some starch to that sauce, help thicken it just a tad, add some nice flavor. All right, let's take it back. Let's get it into our sauce here. Start stirring it in. Get it nice and coated. That's what I like about the fusilli. It has these little sort of flavor, the spiralness like kind of holds that flavor in there. It sucks in the sauce, and that's what you want with this. Okay, see how it instantly started thickening up once we added that in there? Because it just starts drinking the sauce up. What we're gonna do, add a little splash of that pasta water, maybe a quarter cup of it. Stir that in. We're on that medium-low heat still. Then what I want to do here is add a little bit more pepper. We like black pepper in this family, so can't hurt. If you don't love black pepper, you could substitute this with anything. If you wanted, you could even add oregano in this. I'm trying to do just a nice, simple recipe you can do on a weeknight and keep it simple. I'm going to obviously add a little bit more pecorino. And you know I'm going to put this on fresh too when it's time to eat. I don't know, maybe another tablespoon or two of fresh pecorino. Stir that in. We're going to give this a couple more minutes and we're pretty much there. Okay, so that was a really simple recipe, and it's to my favorite part of the video, taste test time. It looks really good. What do you think, Bobby?
Looks delicious.
All right. let's give it a shot. I obviously grated some fresh Pecorino Romano on there, add a little bit more black pepper on top, because I love pepper. Once again, you don't have to do that. I think it's key. This is gonna be burning hot, isn't it? I wanna try to get a little bit of everything here. Onion, a little bit of the sausage, piece of chicken. Getting the ultimate bite here. Oh, I lost some. That just happens to the best of us, doesn't it? Okay.
Burn your face off?
No, not too bad. It's really good. If you like that really like tomatoey rustic flavor, this one's for you. You can really taste the Cento San Marzano's in there. Just a hint of that onion and like pepper flavor come through. I think the Italian sausage adds so much rather than just doing chicken. I think it just adds that salty sort of Italian sausage seasoned flavor into the background. Super good, super easy to make. Looks really good on presentation. If you want to make it look even fancier, you could slice up some fresh parsley and put that on top if you want that green aspect. Kimber's starting to come on in here now finally. She hasn't joined us. This is the first time, I think, it's been a long time she hasn't come in here.
She's tired.
But she's gonna head on in here in a minute, I'm sure. Thank you so much for stopping by Moby's Kitchen. As always, please like and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Have them like and subscribe. We're gonna keep coming out with some great content for you. We've got a Facebook page and a Instagram, which I'll link down below for you on this one too. We're growing, keep growing. We've got some hats now and aprons. We haven't made these available to the public yet, but maybe one day we'll do that. Once again, thanks again for stopping by.